Hey guys, I definitely been blessed even just from looking at our devotion this evening when I looked at it and realized that we will be talking about something that has been one of my things that I've really I gotta say struggled with, but one of my things that I have kind of pondered about and thought about many days was, qualifications. Making sure that, in this world, there are so many things that you have to be, you have to have the qualification um, for it to be good for the world, for it to be good for secular jobs. Our secular jobs, they want qualifications. Our our different even some of our jobs that deal with the church, they want qualifications. And I'm not against that. I'm not against that, having a qualification that comes from something written, a class you took. I think that if you have a craft, if you have something that is your calling, that you should strive to get better and better at it every day in every way. And that should be your goal. And just like us as children of God, we should strive every day to become better and better Christians, to know more about His Word, to know more about what He would have us to do um, in this life, what He would have us to do for our families, for our loved ones. And I know that we should be better and better at every day that we can for our world. Just our world, our communities, our families, everything. We should try to be better. And if there's a qualification that you need for that, um, and for your job, get it. If there's a qualification that you need for your family to do better for them, get it. And if there's a qualification that you need in order to serve God even more in your calling, get it. Um, and those are the things that are going to help us carry the gospel more. They're going to help us to shine the light of Jesus even more in this world. And I'm like I said, I want us to make sure that we are doing the best that we can. See, God saved us from a life of sin, and what we're supposed to do as Christians is we are supposed to be the light in this world. We're supposed to shine light. We're supposed to be um, people that are able to, um, if uh, uh, somebody sees you in the street, and they're down and out, they're in the gutter, and they see you and they talk with you, when they leave from you, they should feel uplifted. They should feel blessed to have been able to get in contact with you, and run across you that day. So I definitely know that as a Christian, that it is our goal. It should be, and it definitely needs to be each and every one of our goals to do more and more for Christ. Um, so I want to actually go ahead and start talking about our devotion. And if you guys, I think I'm just going to start trying to make this more and more. But we're talking about, let's see, the village of Hope, Romania. I don't know if that's coming, flipped around or whatever. It's called Village of Hope, Bob Gass Ministries. This guy is awesome. He's got awesome devotions that he prints out. His company prints out quarterly, and every one of them I haven't really got one that didn't talk to me, or one that just definitely didn't reach me in some way and just encourage me. And so it is my opportunity. It is my privilege to try and encourage somebody in the faith as well. Um, so we are talking about our qualifications coming from God because He has enabled us. So that is speaking directly about the things that God has for us, that He has empowered us to do. We're always to acknowledge our dependence on God. So in the classic book called Prayer, Dr. O. Holsby wrote, "Prayer and helplessness are inseparable. Only those who are helpless can truly pray." How many of us identify with that? We're praying because we're believing God is going to help us. We're praying because we know that in our own power that we're limited. And we're praying because we know that we need help. So prayer is going to be definitely a tool, definitely something we've got to have in this life, guys. And so if we're realizing that we need prayer, then that's going to make sure that we stay humble. That's going to make sure that we stay humble. That's going to make sure that we realize that we really are helpless to do for ourselves, to be strong for ourselves, and there's things that we can't do. Prayer therefore consists simply in telling God day by day in what ways we feel helpless. We are moved to pray every time the Spirit of God emphasizes anew to us our helplessness, and we realize how impotent we are by nature to believe, to love, to hope, to serve, to sacrifice, to suffer, to read the Bible, to pray, and to struggle against our sinful desires. We realize that every day that we pray, guys, like how hard it is for us to struggle against our sinful desires, how weak we are to believe. Imagine where our belief would be if we never prayed. We're asking God, God, look, help me, help me. And even Paul said, that he believed, but he's always asking God for things. Paul, and even the disciples, they all believed, but guess what? They needed help with their unbelief. To love, God is love Himself. He's the epitome of love. He's an expression of love. And by us realizing that, look, God is our only hope of thinking about real true love, and we have to pray and ask Him to help us with that. To hope, think about it, guys? If we didn't have God, where would our hope be? Think about it. If we didn't have God, where would our hope be? Our hope would be on. We would be trying to hope on money. We would be trying to hope on material things, on people. We can't put our trust and our hope on none of these things. These things don't last, and these things will not stand. We've got to put our hope on God. To serve, we've got to pray and ask God to help us. God, help me to serve. Because how many of us have servants' hearts? And if we do, how many of us would have learned to have a servant's heart without God? It'd have been hard. It'd have been hard to have a servant's heart without God. Sacrifice. We learned about sacrifice from God, from how he sacrificed, how he put away the things that he wanted to do sometimes because of knowing he sacrificed sometimes. He actually sacrificed his son for us. God did. But what I'm saying also is think about the sacrifice that God made in just putting up with us. God's got a heart, y'all. And we've heard his heart many, many times. In the Bible, it talks about God's heart, how God's heart was hurt, how things happened, how that he even repented one time that he made man, guys. He repented one time that he even made us. That's how much we hurt his heart. Let's be clear. Feeling helpless is different from feeling hopeless or worthless. It's simply acknowledging our total dependence on God. Jesus said, "Without me, you can do nothing." God will never give you an assignment that does not require his input, his favor, and his enabling grace. When we have an assignment from God, his input is definitely going to be there, guys, because he's going to be leading and guiding us in what to do in that assignment. His favor, think about it. If he's got an assignment for us and his favor is upon that assignment, guess what? He's already said that he would allow it to work out by telling us to do it, by showing us how to make it happen, and then putting his favor on it so that it'll go through. It won't fail. So, guys, if there's something that God has for you to do, grab a hold of it. If you know God's got that for you, grab a hold of it and go with it. And allow God to bless you. Allow God to just minister to you. Allow God to just open those doors that he can do, that he can open, and just put his favor on your life and his enabling grace. How many of us, where would we be at without God's grace? I know me. I know without God's grace, I wouldn't even be here, guys. And I need his grace every day. I need his grace because I know in myself there's only so much good. And even my good and my best is counted as rags, filthy rags towards him. That's how good our God is. And God will never give you that assignment, like I said, if it does not require his input, his favor, his saving grace. Every action of God in your life is designed to increase, not decrease, your dependence on him. As we go further and further in our lives, guys, as we grow, we should realize and we should see that our dependence on God is more and more because we're going further. And as we go further, we're actually depending on God even more because we've been places and been somewhere we've never been before. And then we go further and we've been somewhere again, even further than we were before, that we had never been before. And now we're needing God. And now we have God. And he's going to take us further. And the further we get, the more we're going to depend on God. If you can do it without God, you should stop and ask yourself, is this truly of God? Paul wrote, "We are confident of all this because of your great trust in God through Christ. It is not that we think we are qualified to do anything on our own. Our qualification comes from God. He has enabled us." 2 Corinthians 3:4-6. So if you look back at the people in the Bible, and you realize that the people in the Bible, there were so many of them that we would not even pick. Look at David. He was a baby. He was a son that nobody, even when he was called, even when all the sons were called to come present themselves before Samuel, they didn't even think about asking David. They didn't even think about asking David, guys. He was the youngest son of Jesse. He tended the sheep. He was by himself all the time, just him and God. Because when you were a shepherd back then, it's not like an 8 to 5 job. You literally are with the sheep all the time. And so David is with the sheep. David is, he's here with, he's here with the sheep, and they get called to present themselves before Samuel. Nobody even thinks. There's, what about Saul? What about Saul, guys? He murdered Christians. He was literally the man in charge of making sure that they were persecuting Christians. And guess what? God changed his name, changed his heart, and he became one of the greatest apostles. Probably some people say the greatest apostle. Some people say he was the greatest apostle. He wrote 1/3 of the Bible. So when we look at people that we think should be qualified in our eyes, they might not be qualified in God's eyes. And then sometimes we look at people that we think definitely are not qualified. They are qualified in God's eyes. So you think about that. You think about that when you get down on yourself, when you're facing situations and circumstances, and you say, well, God has chosen me. God has anointed me. God has equipped me to do what I need to do. And though man may not feel like I'm qualified, I know that God has called me and God has qualified me. Now, if God has called you and qualified you, pretty much the only thing you have to worry about is yourself and the devil. If God's qualified you and called you, you don't have to worry about man. You don't have to worry about nothing in this world. You don't have to worry about the devil. The devil's going to try you. But the only thing you have to worry about really is yourself. And make sure God's happy with you. And guess what? The devil's going to come at you anyway. The devil is not going to rest, guys. Sometimes I want the young Christians to know this. I want the sinners to know this, that the devil will come at you if you are a sinner, or I'm sorry, he will just be seeking to destroy you if you are a sinner or if you're a Christian. The difference is, if you are a Christian, then you have God's help. If you are a Christian, you have the Holy Spirit living inside of you, equipping you, growing you as a Christian, reminding you of His Word, giving you strength. Guess what? You're a sinner, right? You're a sinner. The devil's still trying to take you out. He's trying to find ways to take you out. He don't want you to ever even make it to be a Christian. Some people are like, man, being a Christian is so hard. And people saying being a Christian is a lot of work. People saying being a Christian is, I know that, when you're saved, you got to, people say, okay, I got to worry about, the devil's going to be trying me all the time. Guess what? He's already got you as a sinner, but he's still trying to take you out. He don't even want to give you a chance. So sinners out there, that is the worst crutch that you or worst excuse that you could use to try to not be a Christian. Because by you being a Christian, you're gonna have power from God. By you being a Christian, you're gonna have so much more, so much more power because it's not in us. Okay, think about you facing off against the devil yourself in your flesh. You are no match. Do you know that the devil even came at Jesus, right? The devil even tried to tempt Jesus himself. So if he's going to try and tempt Jesus himself, what do you think he's going to do with you? He's not going to let you off the hook. I want y'all to think about that, because when you're dealing with day-to-day situations, when you're dealing with confrontations, when you're dealing with things you're going through and you have no help as a sinner, the enemy, what you're going to do, you're going to pray, ask God to help you as a sinner. You're not even serving him. Be honest with you guys. The times we're living in right now, the things that are happening, and the deceit that the enemy has out there, and the tricks the enemy has that he's using every day, I would definitely be a Christian if I weren't already. I would be seeking God right now. And guess what, guys? I want people to seek God and serve God, and I want people to love God. I want people to learn to love God, because guess what? When you love God, it is something that is that it is it is one of those things that really makes God happy when you actually love God. Now, we're supposed to serve God and be respectful to God, and we're supposed to honor God, and we're supposed to fear God in respect, but God really also, and I'm saying also too, God really just wants us to love him. Think about David, guys. Think about David. I'm going through some of the Old Testament right now, reading, and David keeps getting brought up in the Old Testament. The prophets keep mentioning his name. The people, God himself keeps mentioning his name. And I've just, I've researched, I've studied, I've read, I've asked people, preachers, different people, and the difference was David loved God, y'all. He loved God. And guess what? By one of the things was by David loving God so much, God just I feel like it really just put a twinkle in God's eye that he loved him so much, because so many people just want from God. That's the truth. So many people want from God. They want to serve God so that they can receive a blessing. They want to serve God so that they can escape hell. They want to serve God so that they fit in with a social crowd. But guys, David loved God because he loved God. He delighted himself in God. He wrote songs about God. He talked about God. I mean, if you guys read Psalms, and you guys look at David's life and read in Kings, you will see how that David was just all the time just delighting. He was even so excited about building a house, a temple for God. And it was one of his things that it didn't take over his life, but he was just infatuated with building a temple for God. But he didn't get to. He didn't get to because he had shed a lot of blood. But David, he enjoyed all the privileges of being a king. Yet he wrote, I am poor and needy, yet the Lord thinks upon me. You are my help and my deliverer. Psalm 40:17. The word for you today is never ever lose your sense of dependence on God. This was David. David was writing this. He said, I am poor and needy, yet the Lord thinks upon me. You are my helper and my deliverer. Guess what? I want to find out when this was he wrote this, because David was the king of Israel, sat upon the throne in Jerusalem, had God's favor, never lost a battle, conquered all his enemies. He said, I am poor and needy. That tickles me. That tickles me. I mean, we're human. I mean, we'll make mistakes, and we'll get down on ourselves, and we'll forget sometimes how many blessings God has given us, and we'll say stuff like this or write stuff like this, and it tickles me because you're talking about David, David a king, David, the one that God said that there will always be. There will always be David's bloodline that'll be in charge, and his bloodline will never end. And even the bloodline of David goes all the way down to Jesus. If you do the research, guys, the bloodline of David and Jesus are linked up. And so Jesus, in the end, guys, will sit on the throne in Jerusalem and reign over the whole world, king of the world. You guys are probably like, what are you talking about, Brother Reese? Look it up. People say, Lord, I'm ready to go to heaven. Guess what? When we pass from this life to the next, God said he's going to, make a new heaven and a new earth. He said it's all, one of the prophets said, it's all heaven coming down to earth. We're going to be living in that heaven, because heaven is a city. We're going to be living on the earth. We're back, y'all. He's going to redo it. He's going to redo it. And guess what? Jesus is going to be the king. He's going to sit on the throne. He's going to reign forever. Jesus will be the king. He is the king, and he'll be the king sitting on the throne in Jerusalem. Guys, look. Never, ever, ever lose your sense of dependence on God. This man, David, went from being a shepherd, which nobody counted for royalty. Nobody counted for anything. They did not include him when it was time to meet with the prophet to see who was going to be anointed king of Israel. But God took him from the fields, took him to Jerusalem. And guess what? God loved him so much, and he loved God so much. God said, I will always make sure that your seed is around. I will always make sure that your seed rules. I will always make sure. And guess what? In the end, when Jesus comes back and establishes his kingdom here on earth, he will sit on the throne. And guess what? Jesus comes from the line of David. God has never broken a promise, guys. But guess what? Also, we never forget where we come from. And we always, always, always need to make sure that we fighting every day to love God more and more. That's what He's looking for us. He doesn't need anything from us. We can't. I mean, He doesn't need our money. He doesn't need our. He doesn't need our time per se. He wants us to love Him. God could snap. God could snap His fingers and do everything that He needs to do just like that, guys. But guess what? He wants us to love Him. Yes, we need to serve Him. Yes, we need to do what. But really search your hearts. Really search your hearts and ask yourself why you do what you do. Why you go to church on Sunday. Ask yourself why you sing in the choir. Ask yourself why you're doing these things. Is it because that you really want God to be pleased with your life, that you really love God, or are you doing it for some other reason? Guys, look, I love y'all. Have a good evening.